Welcome to the brand new Draymond Green Show YouTube channel. Hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our content. As a player who's, like you said, want to do it, still can do it, probably will still continue to do it, but it's closer to the end than you are the beginning, as I am. And understanding as a former player the opportunities that we have. What was your thoughts on the Lakers, the rumors that the Lakers zeroing in on JJ Redick, former player, just like more former players getting these coaching jobs and being in the running for these jobs. What was your thoughts on JJ? You mentioned him being, with that report coming out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I like JJ. I think we all respect what he does for us in the media. You know what I'm saying? He does a great job. I think he has a great basketball mind. The reports are going around now. Dan Hurley is another candidate. But I think JJ does deserve a coaching job. I don't know if I would like that one for him. The Lakers job is a tough one, man. And people think, you're a tough mental player, kid, coach, whatever you like. I could do anything. Because I've been through the ring. I can handle it. I'll be fine. Till you get in there, that ring is a different type of ring. And I've seen certain guys, even the most toughest guy, Russell Westbrook. There's not a guy that I know in this league that is as tough mentally than him. You know what I'm saying? That carries that confidence, chip on his shoulder, night in, night out, don't give a damn with who says anything. And he went to LA and he just looked like a different person. And I'm like, damn, those lights are different. That organization, those fans are different. It can change you. It can kind of break some people. And it can make or break your career. And as your first coaching job for JJ, I'm just like, I don't know if that's the first one I want to get into. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a good hire. I think it's dope. Obviously, some conflicts with JJ and Bron having the podcast. They're not sure if you're going to get the respect in the locker room. If Bron respects him, everybody else should. I think everybody else respects JJ, even as a player. He was a really good player. He was a great player. And he's so good at what he does media-wise. He's, people kind of forgetting how good he was as a player. That's how good he is as a media head. But yeah, I think he's a good hire anywhere. But for JJ, I think it's going to be tough. And if I'm him, I don't know if I want that to be my first one. I don't know what's your thoughts on it. If you have any other better candidates, who's assistant coaches over there? Y'all have some good assistants over there. Like, is there somebody you think would fit better in LA?
I think JJ would do a great job. And I think, with the rapport that him and Bron have, like, at the end of the day, no coach in the NBA is successful without the backing of their best player. Like, if their best player don't back them, that coach ain't going to be successful. So I think with their rapport that they have, I'd imagine that, Bron, you do a podcast with this man, I'd imagine you respect him, you respect his basketball mind, you respect all those things. So, to your point, if that's the case, then I think that ultimately helps. Where I think the business of the NBA happens is like people don't understand the dynamic of having multiple stars. Like, and the dynamic of having multiple stars can be different. So, there could be a dynamic where JJ, like Bron loves JJ and wants him as the coach. Anthony Davis is a totally different star that may want something else. I don't know this to be facts. I'm just saying how the dynamics could work. Because for me, when I see Dan Hurley all of a sudden come out of nowhere, like, he's their guy, they're reporting, they're flying him out to LA. Like, just a day ago, they were zeroing in on JJ Redick. Now, yes, these are reports, but this is Shams reporting. Like, this ain't Fox News or like this is Shams reporting. And so, when he reports, when Woj reports,
it holds water.
That's a different thing. Like that, like they know and so for that to come out one day and then the next day it's like Dan Hurley, to me, like, how does that change that fast, right? And I just sit back and I'm like, whoa, maybe this happened, because I do understand the dynamic of stars in the NBA. And today's episode is brought to you in part by Hyperice. Myself, as a 12-year NBA veteran, you quickly realize that recovery is not the same. However, you get these young guys that come in and they talking and they yapping, and you want to perform at that level, and for me, my Normatec boost has been a huge part of my recovery. Carry them on the road, always got them with me, and Hyperice has made that even easier with the Normatec Elites. They've ditched all of the extra hoses and control units from the old model. This one is fully self-contained with a small set of buttons to select your compression level. Super easy to travel with and to get set up after a hard workout or after a game, after a hard work day. Not just for athletes, by the way. And on top of that, the Normatec Elite packs 4 hours of battery life, which is enough juice to get full leg compression cycles in before games, after games, on the plane, after work, before your workout, whatever works for you. And as I said, it's not just for pro athletes. So everyone, you can get your hands on these to help with your recovery, increasing your circulation, and reducing the swelling in the lower body. So, shop all your warm-up and recovery needs at hyperice.com. Use code Draymond for 15% off of your order today. Exclusions apply.
For sure. It's interesting also because I feel like we came in at a similar time. Early on, social media wasn't as big when we first got into the league. It grew. And certain things that were reported did not affect how people coached, how people traded, GMs looked at things. You can see now how the media is huge and it can get into locker rooms. It can get into organizations. I think when they put out the JJ thing, they didn't like the responses that they got. And people were like, what the hell? Is this serious? I thought this was a joke. Or, who's going to respect it? Like, they probably saw a lot of negative heat and was like, are y'all not vetting anybody else? Is there no better candidates? I like James Borrego. I had him in San Antonio. JB, good peoples. Everybody else that is really good has a job already or has been picked up. So there's not a lot of options. I think this was, I wouldn't say like a cover up, but it was something like, all right, we got to do some other research and see other options. Now, does Dan take the job? I don't think he does. I don't think it makes sense for him to leave UConn, especially if he can get extended there for the same amount of money and stay in Connecticut. Because it's a tough situation. But, who knows? I thought that, maybe Kentucky would have threw some money at him when, Cal left for Arkansas. But yeah, he's got the pick of the litter. Like, he's in a really good situation and he can do whatever he wants to do. I don't know if he would take the Lakers job, but I think this is just them kind of like seeing the response they got from the media and like, all right, we got to kind of see what else is out there and see what the response is from like Dan Hurley. What do they think of that? I'm sure people are like, oh, this is probably a really good candidate because JJ, even though he's really great, he's never coached before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we've kind of forget that. You would think that because of how smart he is and how he knows the game and how he talks it in media. It's like, he's really good, but he's really never coached before. And so for him, I wouldn't want that job for him, having to manage that locker room with egos and that nature. I have a couple questions for you. Like, what do you think outside of coaching? What pieces do you think they need?
The Lakers?
To like make, because I thought they had great foundation. I thought it worked. Obviously, they matched up with Denver, which is not the best matchup for them. But I feel like any other series they could win or beat teams. But obviously, they're missing some pieces. So you keep AD and Bron. What moves? They talk about Trae Young. They talk about DeJounte Murray. What do you think they should do or put your GM hat on? If you're the Lakers, what do you do? Coaching-wise and players-wise?
I think any young guard they can get would be like, will help that team. Because for them, if you got like a Trae Young or a DeJounte Murray with the backing of Bron and AD, like that's a totally different thing. And that young guard is in Bron's point guard school because Bron is a point guard. Like, he's a point guard. He's been a point guard his whole life. Like, so not only with their skill, and whoever that young guard can be. It don't have to be a DeJounte or Trae. That's just the names you mentioned. But like any young guard, you have talent, you have skill, you're dynamic in the way that these young guards are in the NBA. And you get to go to Bron point guard school and you get to play with one of the best bigs in the NBA in Anthony Davis. Like you and I both know, for a long time, teams were built in the NBA on having a great guard and a great big, and you fill everything else out in between. Then it starts changing with like us. But you're starting to see that shift back again. Like that, it's starting to shift back to like
it's just a different big now. It's like a Wemby, Chet type of big now.
Absolutely. And so with that shift kind of happening, like So now you say you got a great big in Anthony Davis, and you got like a young guard that can go to LeBron James point guard school. Oh, and by the way, you still got LeBron James who can get great at any moment. Don't gotta be there all the time. He's in year 27, but can be great in the blink of an eye in any moment you need. In between that, I think that's dangerous,
For sure.
and none of us would want to see that, So I think, I think they, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they got a little room to do something.
They got pieces. They got stuff they can do. Ultimately, I think they need to start preparing for the future. And that's if Anthony Davis stays there, they do need somebody to replace Bron instead of a guard that's a young guard that could kind of do some of the similar things or give you that type of dynamic of the 1-2 punch. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's a tough job. I'm glad I don't have it being that GM. But
Rob has done an incredible job, though.
Yeah.
He's done a great job.
RP's been doing his thing, man. Big shout out to him. But
we're this close to crowning an NBA champion. I like the Celtics, by the way, in 6. Jaylen Brown's going to be my MVP, and I love the Celtics in game 1. But sign up, 90 seconds. Put in the code Colin, COLIN. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you're a new customer, bet $5. That's it. Just bet $5, and you'll get $150 instantly in bonus bets. The code Colin, COLIN, shows them that you're a new customer to get $150 in bonus bets only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm leaning Celtics in 6, baby.